Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the program on this Tuesday, July 21st. Coming to you live from Seoul, I'm Kim Mo-gyun. Before we get started, these are the stories we're following at this hour. South Korea's first military communications satellite, the Anasis-2, was successfully launched into space on Tuesday. With this, South Korea became the 10th country in the world to put a military communications satellite into orbit. As the world desperately waits for a cure for COVID-19, a potential vaccine developed by the UK's Oxford University has reportedly produced a promising immune response in a large, early-stage human trial. The UK is indefinitely suspending its extradition pact with Hong Kong over China's controversial national security law for the territory. The British government will also extend its arms embargo against China to Hong Kong. Our top story today, South Korea's first military communications satellite was launched into space on Monday and has successfully made contact to bases on Earth. This means South Korea becomes the 10th country in the world to put a military-only communications satellite into orbit. Our Kim Ji-yeon starts us off.
The Anasis-2 satellite blasted off from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station's Kennedy Space Center in Florida on Monday on a Falcon 9 rocket made by U.S.-based commercial space firm SpaceX. The satellite successfully separated from the rocket 32 minutes after launch at an altitude of about 630 kilometers above the equator. It made contact with the Toulouse Space Operations Center 18 minutes later. In 2 weeks, the satellite is expected to reach its fixed orbit of 36,000 kilometers. With this, South Korea became the 10th country in the world to put a military communications satellite into orbit. It will replace the Anasis-1 satellite used for both civilian and military purposes. The Defense Acquisition Program Administration says the new satellite will send data back 2 times faster than before and maintain quality even if it's subject to jamming attacks from enemy forces. The South Korean military will take system control in October after its manufactured Airbus defense and space tests the satellite's functions and operability. The project is part of a package for South Korea's 2014 purchase of 40 F-35A fighter jets from Lockheed Martin. Lockheed subcontracted the satellite manufacturing deal to Airbus in 2016. Kim Ji-yeon, Arirang News.
As the world awaits an effective vaccine against COVID-19, some promising signs are emerging. Scientists at Oxford University in the UK say their experimental vaccine prompted a protective immune response in hundreds of people who got the shot. Our Kim Hyo-sun has this report.
A potential COVID-19 vaccine developed by Oxford University has reportedly produced a promising immune response in a large, early-stage human trial. According to newly released data published Monday in the medical journal The Lancet, 100% of the participants in the trial developed neutralizing antibodies. The trial was carried out in April on some 1,000 people between the ages of 18 and 55 in the UK. Researchers explained that the vaccine being jointly developed with pharmaceutical giant AstraZeneca also produced killer T cells that help patients combat the infection by attacking the infected cells. The World Health Organization welcomed the news, but warned that there is a long road ahead.
We do welcome the study and congratulate our colleagues at the Oxford University's Jenner Institute and the Oxford Vaccine Group and obviously our colleagues at AstraZeneca for getting this data out there. But again, there is a long way to go. These are phase 1 studies. We now need to move into larger scale real-world trials.
There was also positive news on vaccine development in other parts of the world, with America's Pfizer and Germany's BioNTech successfully immunizing their participants. The trial carried out on 60 adults in Germany proved to be safe and successfully induced an immune response. Such a response echoed results of a similar test conducted in the U.S. Pfizer and BioNTech now plan to begin testing on some 30,000 volunteers this month to prove the efficacy of their vaccine. Kim Hyo-sun, Arirang News.
The World Health Organization has expressed grave concerns over the fast spread of COVID-19 across Africa. The WHO's top emergencies expert Mike Ryan said Monday that countries like South Africa, Botswana, and Kenya have reported significant increases over the past week. The WHO also called for intensified quarantine measures for the world's indigenous people who are extra vulnerable to the virus. The WHO's chief explained that as of early July, over 70,000 cases have been reported among indigenous people in the Americas, with over 2,000 fatalities. With the COVID-19 situation worsening in the U.S., President Trump says he will be resuming daily COVID-19 briefings. This comes as his approval rating keeps sliding just a few months out of the 2020 presidential elections. Our Yoon Jung-min tells us more.
U.S. President Donald Trump has revealed he will resume regular COVID-19 briefings from Tuesday as the virus continues to spread there and his approval rating continues to take a hit.
But we have had this big flare-up in Florida, Texas, a couple of other places. So I think what we're going to do is I'll get involved and we'll start doing briefings, whether it's this afternoon or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, and I'll do briefings.
At his first briefing in about 3 months, President Trump is likely to focus on the development of vaccines and drugs to tackle the pandemic. He told reporters that he may also invite the heads of the companies involved in developing vaccines. President Trump stopped doing the briefings in late April after he suggested scientists study whether the injection of light or disinfectants might cure the virus, sparking a huge backlash. Taking to Twitter on Monday, President Trump posted a picture of himself wearing a face mask, and he encouraged Americans to wear them too, calling it a patriotic action to take during the pandemic. The U.S. has reported over 3.8 million COVID-19 cases, with more than 140,000 fatalities so far. Florida has reported over 10,000 new daily infections for 6 days in a row now. With the situation worsening, the state is encouraging individuals that have recovered from COVID-19 to donate their blood.
But there is another way that you can help, and that is for those who have been infected with COVID-19 and developed antibodies for the disease, to donate your blood. And One Blood here is really leading the charge on this.
President Trump's decision to resume daily briefings also comes as he watches his approval rating slide. A recent joint poll by ABC News and The Washington Post showed only 38% of respondents approved of President Trump's response to the pandemic. Their other poll showed that former Vice President Joe Biden is leading President Trump 55% to 40% among registered voters nationally. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.
In other news, some U.S. politicians are voicing concerns on reports the White House might cut the number of U.S. troops stationed in South Korea. Representative Ami Bera, chairman of the Subcommittee on Asia, the Pacific, and Non-Proliferation at the House Foreign Affairs Committee, tweeted the Wall Street Journal's recent report on the plans, saying it would be irresponsible. He added the U.S. partnership with South Korea not only ensures peace and prosperity in the region, but protects American security. Senator Ben Sasse said it would be strategic incompetence. The Wall Street Journal reported last Friday that the Pentagon has presented the White House with options to reduce the American military presence in South Korea as their defense cost-sharing negotiations remain in stalemate. The UK says it's indefinitely suspending its extradition pact with Hong Kong after China passed its controversial national security law for the territory. On top of that, the British government will also extend its arms embargo against China to Hong Kong. Our Lee Seung-jae reports.
Addressing Parliament on Monday, the UK's Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab said Britain is indefinitely suspending its extradition pact with Hong Kong. He called the recently enacted national security law imposed by China as a clear and serious violation of the UK-China Joint Declaration, which gave rise to the 1997 handover. He added the new measures were a necessary and proportionate response to the new law. In addition to the suspension of the extradition pact, Raab said the UK will extend its arms embargo against China to Hong Kong, meaning there will be no exports of weapons from the UK to Hong Kong of potentially lethal weapons and ammunition. He added the decision will also mean a ban on any equipment that could be used for internal repression, such as shackles, firearms, and smoke grenades. Even before Raab's announcements, China's Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Yanbin announced reporters in Beijing on Monday accusing the UK of brutal meddling in China's internal affairs and urged the British government to stop its wrong words and actions. He also urged the UK to avoid further damage to China-UK relations. After China enacted the national security law on Hong Kong, the UK has announced several measures, such as extending residency rights for Hong Kong citizens with British national overseas passports. It also pledged to stop using telecommunications gear manufactured by China's tech giant Huawei for the country's 5G infrastructure, citing security concerns. 이승재, Arirang News.
China is reportedly considering retaliating against Nokia and Ericsson if the EU follows the US and Britain's ban on Huawei from their 5G networks. According to the Wall Street Journal Monday, China's Ministry of Commerce is looking into export controls that would prevent Finland's Nokia and Sweden's Ericsson from sending products it made in China to other countries. The report added the retaliation would be China's worst-case scenario and would only be used if European countries ban Chinese suppliers from their 5G networks. The EU has not yet recommended a ban on Huawei, but issued a so-called toolbox of security standards that member states should apply when using 5G suppliers considered to be at high risk. South Korea's producer prices in June saw an on-month increase for the first time in 5 months. The upturn was largely led by a rise in industrial goods prices amid surging international oil prices. The Bank of Korea said Tuesday that its production price index last month saw a 0.5% increase compared to the previous month to stand at 102.52. Industrial goods prices increased by 1% on month, with prices of coal and petroleum products surging around 21%. Service prices also rose 0.3%, but prices of agricultural products fell by 1.6%. South Korean government officials will deliberate and vote on Tuesday on whether to make August 17th a temporary holiday for this year only. The meeting will be presided over by President Moon Jae-in at the Blue House, and Prime Minister Chung Sek-yoon suggested the idea to give the public and medical workers a break amid the prolonging COVID-19 pandemic, as well as to revitalize the domestic economy. If it's given the green light, people in South Korea would be able to enjoy a 3-day break, as the upcoming August 15 Liberation Day falls on a Saturday this year.
Good morning. As the monsoon rain is taking a short break today, blistering heat is setting in. In fact, a heat wave advisory is in place for most inland regions, that's including Daegu and Chuncheon. So while southern coast regions will have highs similar or higher than yesterday, because it's a different story for those of you on the south coast and Jeju today, you'll see rain. And it could rain heavily on and off during the day and into tomorrow, so an umbrella is a must. Meanwhile, the central region will see showers starting tomorrow. Eastern inland regions could see passing showers during the day as well. It's going to be cooler for regions seeing rain today, while the rest of the country will see highs going 4 to 6 degrees higher this afternoon with strong UV rays today. Monsoon rain returns and will drop showers on Seoul by Thursday night, while temperatures in Seoul will remain around 30 degrees Celsius for the time being. That's Korea for you, and here's the international weather for viewers around the world.
That's our time at the hour on Arirang News. More news coming up at noon Korea time, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching.